Just would like to welcome all the membership here at the Lakes Country Club. I'm Craig Howard, Golf Course Superintendent. Today we are going to bring up 5 different topics that have come to us from the membership. A lot of it dealing with golf etiquette. I want to thank John McCarthy for helping me out on part of this series here. But we're going to talk about proper ball mark repair. We're going to talk about divot patterns on the driving range. We're talking about the bunker rakes and how we're going to position them next to the bunkers. The divots, how much sand you should put in a divot and how they should look. And the 5th one is how we're going to smooth the sides of the bunkers so that it doesn't impact play and they look like just after we rake them. So I just hit a shot in here on 9 East. I left a pretty good ball mark. And my number one thing I step into is I kind of look at which way I came in at. The shot came into the green. I find the backwards edge or the leading edge of it, and I just simply give it a quick tap. What that does is already set some of the grass back to where it was supposed to be. My next step is to find that same leading edge, and I simply put the ball mark in and push it to the center. Once that's done, I come to each edge and work my way in, and then simply tap it back out. As you can tell, it takes about 4 to 5 seconds to correctly fix the ball mark, and the results show. You can't even tell that the ball mark was there. When the guys run the mower over the next day, it's as if it never happened.
Hi there, John McCarthy, head golf professional here at the Lakes Country Club with another tip on etiquette, and this is in regard to the bunkers and how you rake them properly. Now you may notice here at the lakes, one of the practices of our maintenance crew has been to start raking the bottom area or portion of the bunker, and then they're actually smoothing the edges from the sidewall down to about the flat part of the bunker. So when I hit a ball into the bunker here, and I'll go ahead and knock it out. This is a fun bunker shot here. Take that all day. So now, when I leave this bunker, what the superintendent has asked us to do is actually to use the teeth of the rake to rake the bottom portion. And as you back your way out of this bunker, and we come to this area here that's smooth, go ahead, take the rake, flip it over, use the smooth side, and smooth it back out just like this. And reason being is that they've left these sidewalls smooth so the ball doesn't get stuck. The idea is when your ball gets into a bunker that we hope that it would roll all the way to the bottom where it's raked. So if you can, after each time you use the bunker, make sure to use the teeth on the floor of the bunker, and then on the smooth edges, flip it over and smooth it out on your way out. And again, don't forget, knock the sand off your shoes. Thank you.
All right, this looks like a tough lie. I was out the other day with Jim Schmidt and we were playing golf, and you know, he's a big rules stickler. What's tough with this is the rules state that I'm able to move the rake, which then in turn the ball is going to move. Well, I have to determine the point where it was, which is right here. I actually have to push the ball in a little bit so it will indent, which is causing even a tougher lie to be worse. So now I have to play that where it lies, and I tell you, I'm not a good bunker player to start with, so this is a little out of my league. So the key to this is why we want to have the bunkers on the bunker rakes on the outside of the thing, is so that it doesn't impede with the play of golf, and you know, have a rules infraction or where you're going to have to play a shot like this. All right, now that I've hit my shot, I'm going to go ahead and re-smooth that edge and rake the bunker real fast. Kind of re-smooth the edge here where my foot packs are. And that's why we're asking the membership that when they use the bunker rake, we want to position it so it's on the outside and it's pointing back at about 150 of the center of the fairway where you hit your shot from. And then we put the bunker rake handle right here. It really helps with those kind of lies that we had on the face of the bunker there. It allows it to interfere with as few shots possible, because if it's coming in this direction, it's not blocking the front of the bunker, and it's not going to be holding balls on the back. All right, so Mike's telling me I got to put the ball in the back of my stance, but by doing so in my my work boots, I'm definitely going to be taking quite a divot here. So back in my stance, coming down at the ball, and you can see I left quite a divot right there. And the question I often get from the membership is how much sand and seed to put into the divot. What we're trying to do is make the surface level with the surrounding turf. So when we come in and we put it in, slightly above is okay, because then you just kind of give it a quick step and it's just like it's right there ready to go. Too much sand is actually bad because then we're damaging our mowers. Not enough sand, we're running into where it's going to always be a slight indentation. So we appreciate your help, and thank you very much.
Hi there, John McCarthy, head golf professional here at the Lakes Country Club, and I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about etiquette, and in particular we're talking about here on the driving range. So this year turf is a little bit limited here on the driving range, so I don't know, most members have probably noticed that we've been on the mats quite a bit, and we've been doing that in order to help preserve the turf on the range. So here's a little tip on how we can even do better as a whole here at the lakes to try and preserve the turf here on the driving range. There's a couple different things that you'll see when it comes to divot patterns here on the range, and there's certain practices we can use that will help preserve the turf and will also help it to regrow or recover a little more quickly after use. So one thing that we see here on the driving range at the lakes are a couple of different divot patterns. We're talking about the way that you set up your shots and take your shots. So one of the first and most popular things that we see here on the range is a scattered divot pattern. And what I mean by scattered is the divots are all separated, and with each shot we kind of move the ball to a fresh area of turf. We take another divot, and then we take the next ball and move it over maybe an inch or two and take another full divot. So the scattered divot pattern is actually, it removes the most turf on the range and takes the longest to recover. So when we make a scattered divot pattern when we're practicing, we actually have to move these stalls more frequently, and it takes the longest to recover because each swing is taking a full divot of turf out here on the driving range. The next type of pattern that we'd see, and this is usually from people that think that they're conserving the turf, and we appreciate that, but this is the concentrated divot pattern. And a concentrated divot pattern occurs when we're hitting balls from one particular spot, and we take one divot and then we take the next ball and we put it right next to that divot that we just took, and we hit another ball, and eventually we end up with a square pattern that has removed all of the turf within that concentrated area. Now this actually does not use as much turf as, say, the scattered divot pattern. However, this takes the longest to recover because we are completely removing the turf from an area sometimes as large as 24 inches by 24 inches. And so that is not a preferred method of practice when on the driving range when we're trying to conserve the turf. The third and best way, and this is actually recommended by the USGA, is to use a linear pattern. And the linear pattern is good. If you take a divot on your first shot, the best thing to do is to take the next ball and place it right behind that divot that you just took and take another divot, right? And you continue that process moving backwards until you have created a straight line, a linear divot pattern. And when you get to probably about 15 or 20 inches of a linear pattern, then the USGA recommends that you move over 4 inches and start over. And this is the best way to do it because we're using the least amount of turf with each swing, and then we're leaving a little bit of turf in between these lines, and that will actually help that grass to recover a whole lot more quickly. So one tip when you're here on the driving range to help preserve the turf, we ask that you would use a linear divot pattern in order to help this grass recover more quickly. We thank you very much.